Hi, everybody. I'm here. Um, let's see where to go. I wanted to get into comments, not banners. Banners are there. Okay. Oh, I was in comments. I'm sorry. A bunch of you showed up since I looked a couple minutes ago. Uh, I don't find okay, Candy. Right now, I'm going to tell you right now. I am not the person in my family who finds things. My daughter does that. I'm terrible at it. I could send you off on a wild goose chase. So I'm sorry. It's just not one of those things I do. Hello, Dr. Gail. Hello, Sharon Sipe. Hello, you wonderful people. You're all showing up. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to get in. I'm going to explain kind of what's happening today. Um, I decided to just kind of open the forum up last night when I finally remembered, oops, I have a show tomorrow. And I got some real intriguing questions and some real interesting things to talk about. Not a whole bunch of them at first, but I got four of you right at the end. And I've been over, that's why I opened up right on time because I was over there copying over your questions into banners, which is where I take them out of comments. Hi, Lisa. Lise, hi, Maureen, with all the flowers in your garden. I do have a question about gardening today, so that's kind of fun. And I actually had a friend of mine who answered it when she saw it in the comments before I did. So I'll read her answer and then we'll talk about it. It's someone who's is a little discouraged about how crappy the weather is this year. We're not that far into it, so don't give up on it yet. Um, okay, I'm gonna hide your comment. Uh, I'm not a super sleuth at finding rings and things. That's not what I do. And we'll just see how many more, couple more people drift in. I'm kind of looking for the names of the people. Yeah, today, yeah, if you're where I live in Texas, today was the right day to not go out and do anything. It is rainy, it is cold. It's actually supposed to snow tonight, although I know many of you would laugh at what we call snow, but it's not going to get cold enough for it to freeze the way it looks right now. But between here and the Red River, it goes through those levels of treachery where you never quite know. Anyway, okay, let me catch my breath. I wanted to show you. Where did my pretty new thing go? Ah, no, I had it in my hand. Ah, I put it back where it belongs. That's why I can't find it. This is an angelite. It was a gift given to me in the last month or so by a friend who went to Sedona. And I had most of my questions are sort of like calming down and cooling. Um, uh, I'll ask someone asked a sort of political question. I'll answer it. It's not nasty political, so but this is a calming stone, and I just kind of that's why I said I had it with me early. Um, and just kind of pull it together. And then I rushed in and found three more questions at the end. So we're going to get to them. I don't know if any of you saw the Sunday marathon where I did 34 past lives in an hour and 23 minutes. That's roaring. It's hardly the depth. What we're going to do to make up for not being able to show people the depth when I keep saying we can do more with the past life reading on this Thursday, this coming Thursday. It will be a show that will be following the comments because Dr. Gales volunteered to come over and help me follow the comments. Woohoo! And I'm going to do a past life for Kelly, an in-depth past life where I go through all the different stages of ways I know for looking at it. Um, well, at least if you have one for today, you can type it in. Um, but we're going to do it that way. And I need Dr. Gale there because I can't really read you guys and answer questions and look at the table and deal with it. I've got everything on the table today. I've got pendulums out. I've got cards out. I've got stones out. Someone asked for crystal prescription, which I'm not real wild about doing, but this one I will do because something I'm very familiar with. And I am going to switch to the table and I have to jump up really quickly and get a deck. Someone asked about a relative that she disappeared and she wants to know if they passed. And I only have one way that I think works well for that. And that's one of the last ones I got. So I hadn't had a chance to pull the deck for it. But I'm going to be using the Talking to Heaven deck from James Van Praagh. So we're ready to go here. We're all kind of settled in, just a little bit crazy and a little bit rock and roll. What can I say? Okay, first question up today is, and this, I'm going to show you this now. If you do want to ask me a question further on in the chat and we have time, I'll go for it. But if they're not in caps, it makes it very hard for me to find them. Then people's egos get hurt because they think they're being neglected. And I would never neglect any of you if I could avoid it. But we'll see how that works, okay? Now, LH, since we're having an open garden party, I'm curious about what I should do about planting my garden this spring in the Houston area. I was wondering if there's any point in putting one out. So I'm going to ask a card yes or no on that. And then I'm going to show the answer that came in from a good friend of mine who has turned her entire house around her house into a garden one way or another. And she plants natural plants. You'll see when I read her response. But we're going to see if LH should give up on the garden this year. My garden's about to give up. It's about to go floating away. This says to me that you love gardening and you really enjoy what you get. Your worry is you can't be in control. Maybe that's a good thing for you to just plant the plants and see what happens. And it may also be that you just don't want to waste the money and the time. But what it says is if you don't plant it, when we have lovely gardening weather and everybody else is harvesting all their tomatoes, you're going to feel trapped. And the outcome, if you make the right choices, you can have a wonderful and almost empress-like environment around you where you can grow. I think things are going to grow better this year in Texas. And in case all of you who are looking at 5 feet of snow in your front yard going, why are they worrying about plants in Texas right now? Within 2 weeks, you have to put your onion sets in if you're going to grow onions. And this was the response my friend Margaret sent to you. Margaret H., but animals and insects need your garden. I planted native plants in my garden. They come back by themselves and are host to all sorts of insects and wildlife. She has butterflies and hummingbirds, and Margaret's never short-winded, so there's a whole lot more after that, but it wouldn't fit. There's only so many characters I can put in a statement. But she does have a beautiful garden, and we're very fortunate because in the Dallas area, we have State Fair Park, which has a gardening place where they grow plants there. And twice a year, they have plant sales of native plants and plants for your yard that will grow here. Another hint to Lauren, who is LH, is you have an A&M extension. Texas A&M has extensions in every major county, and all the rural counties have them because that's where they're supposed to be. But Dallas County in particular, I know I've worked with them a lot. If you contact the Harris County the Texas A&M extension, they will send you a whole big giant PDF. I suppose it'll be a PDF now. When I got them, it was so long ago. It was on paper, but you can get it and it will tell you not only how to plant, but what to plant. And then it'll tell you the things to watch out for when you're planting. I thought one of the most fascinating sheets they ever sent me was plants that don't like each other. They're kind of like crystals. There's some plants that just don't like each other. Like onions and beans don't grow well together. So I used to set my onion sets out, and I had a long, skinny garden at one point. I put my onion sets out in the first February, guys, and that's why they're called spring onions. And they would all grow up and be wonderful. And I would, kind of harvest them out and harvest them space. And so at the end, I got some really big, juicy onions. In the interim, I had some wonderful, tender spring onions. But they also will tell you, plant your onions now, plant this now. I know the one that I always remembered because it was so different. I grew up in Illinois and my mother had a rose garden, and we used to trim everything in April. And in Texas, you're supposed to trim, if you're going to cut your roses back, you're supposed to cut them back on February 14th, which I thought was kind of cute because it's Valentine's Day. It's real easy to remember. And I'm pulling that out of 40 years ago from my brain. So it worked. And then this is the next question. What would be a good stone for my sister to quit smoking and also lose weight, and for me to lose weight too? Well, stopping and stones that deal with abundance are kind of all the same school. So you're going to get to see what I deal with when I build a grid. I pulled out the stones that I know work. Any blue stone, this is a chrysocolla, it turquoise, that whole set of stones. Let's see. I wanted the white dish because I tried this earlier, and blue stones don't show up well on a blue scarf. Clever child that I am. This is Amazonite. And this happens to be shaped into triangles, and I find that I use them a lot in grids because they're very powerful for projecting that energy. Amazonite is the most incredibly anti-anxiety stone in the world. And you can get it in big chunks like this, but I'm not sure you need one that big. Although if you carried around a pocket of these, I guarantee you'd lose some weight. But you can have Amazonite, and then weirdly enough, there's a little stone, and I love it. It's so pretty blue. It's called apatite, and that's not like appetite like what you eat. It's like Apatite, and they're just little stones like that. Like, see that little tiny one there? See a great big one there? And see the sort of moderate sized ones there? All of those will work. There's size doesn't matter in crystals. So if you want to put one of these on the dressing table next to you, or place next to the chair that you sit or something like that, and zone in on its energy, it would be wonderful. If you just carried either of these two in your pockets, they would be very helpful. That's part of the mix. Now, those are for soothing you. The other one's for soothing you and making you aware of how you're feeling. This stone that I'm going to open up and show you now is a sodalite. And this is actually the same as one of the stones I tumble in my garden, but it's been polished. Looks all shiny and pretty. Mine still has its matrix around it, because if I threw this in the garden on a silk scarf, I'd be chasing it around the floor all day. But that's called sodalite, and it's Sodalite. So you got light in there, so that ought to make you remember for weight. Then, of course, there's a tried and true, trusted, and this is a whole bag of them. This is a whole bag of amethyst, and you can see they're not deep and dark blue. They don't have to be perfect, shiny, gemmy amazonites. Those also help you build your will and help you understand the direction you want to go in if you program that way. Then we have lapis, and you're seeing a lot of blue stones because blues calm your heart, and they help you communicate better. And that's some real pretty lapis. That's not ugly to carry around your purse. And this whole bag has some that are really tiny. And lapis can have some really weird things. It can be that light on one side and then that dark on the other. So I think it's a pretty stone. Besides being lapis, it's some of the oldest gems we find recorded in history, and it's always used for calming things. Now, the last two of my recommendations, and I hope you're writing fast because I'm not writing this down. This was Nancy storming through the drawers behind her and saying, "What can I find for this lovely woman?" This is one of my favorite stones. A tiger's eye are really agates that go through special processes that make them have certain characteristics. This is a red tiger's eye, and you can see the red, and you can see the kind of striations like you expect in a tiger's eye. And these are really good if you can find them for pocket stones. And sometimes you'll go in crystal shops, and they'll have a small stones to carry. When I bought those red tiger's eye, I could get a bag about like that. It's when it's all filled up, it's about a pound. I can get those for $20. So you shouldn't have to pay a whole lot if you go into a store. But that's red tiger's eye, and red tiger's eye revs you up. It's when you hold that stone, you can just feel it going through your body, saying, "Move it, move it, move it, move it." And then this is a calming stone, but another one that works with helping your circulation and helping your body move. And this is fire quartz. And what's with this fire quartz is this is a good piece. I think, yeah, you can see it plainly in the camera. See that red sort of little arrow that's in it? Red streaks run all through these. And so it's a very revitalizing, very energizing kind of stone to find. It's not that expensive. I know I've seen them selling them as singles or small sections of them on Etsy. So, and that one is another one that gets your body revved up and going. Now, how would this help your sister quit smoking? Because these calming stones will help calm down her nervous system. That's what she's doing with the nicotine now, and it's may calm her system down, but it's going to have long-term problems. You can go on Etsy, and I don't make them, and I can't say that I ever wear them. I don't like to wear bracelets. I only wear one watch ever, kind of. But you can find bracelets made with the mixture of these stones. You'll see there where they pull in other stones. I just happen to like these. So you've got red tiger's eye, you've got amethyst, you've got several kinds of lapis, and you've got sodalite, you've got the fire quartz, and I'm doing this because I have to take this off my table anyway. I've got these lovely blue stones, chrysocolla, apatite, and amazonite. And these three, I'm telling you, and this is true of any stone, size doesn't matter. So it doesn't have to be the world's biggest stone. It has to be the stone that speaks to you, that you can connect with. And that's my lecture on weight loss today. Okay. Now we're going to go, because I promised Ronnie why because she wrote in early on the comments. And so I'm going to show hers, and then I'll go back. School year 23-24, changing work location, not district, right choice to stay, and work harder to make it better. At odds with the coworkers, team lead, we trigger each other off. Situation is very stressful. So I'm going to toss it in the garden about what your job change will do for you. Okay. What will Ronnie Wise job change be? It's for 23-24. Okay. First of all, your mind rolled off the board, but it rolled by heart. And I think this has been very pressured you. Fall is going to be the time that this is all going to come to fruition for you, and it looks good. You've got your spirit coming out of earth. Your spirit's transforming right now, and it's not finished yet. So you may not see all the ins and outs of this decision, but your body is in fire, and it says you're doing this. You and this woman have some kind of past life connection, and apparently you're not here to resolve it if you're leaving it. But that's okay. But you're learning from that and you're learning to move away. I think before you would have hung around until it was too late. Your mind is in your heart, and that's right down here. You can't see it because of your comment. I'll kill your question because then you can see that's in heart. And when your mind is in your mind is being opened by your heart. I think you've finally given yourself permission to take care of you in making this move. The solar plexus is your values, and you're re-looking at your values really closely. But this is great with this stone being here. This decision is where you're going to burn out all self-doubt, and you're going to have much more confidence in your ability to make a decision. I think you've given everything you can to try and make this other situation work, and now it's just a matter of putting your blinders up and going forward and knowing better things are coming. Because your clarity, you're making me work hard, girl. Your clarity falls in all 6 of these. Your clarity shows up. This says you're tying your cosmic wisdom that's needed for you to move forward in your sacral chakra. It says creativity will be met. You can harmonize with your own feelings, and then your clarity falls into the past. That's why I thought it might be a past life thing. Use lessons you've learned to your best advantage. You got a little bit of fire in your clarity, and that's use ideas you carry from your past to create fresh life solutions. You've got clarity in water. You will have all the clarity you need. Now this is in the fall. This is winter, spring, summer, fall. This is in the fall. You'll understand why you need to make this change, what it's doing for you, and how it's going to make you go forward. How it's just you're going to have a completely revitalized life force by fall. And then you have it in go for it. And when you have clarity and go for it, it says move now on your intuitions. You couldn't be making a better set of choices and not sacrifice yourself to have them be made. Okay, Ronnie? So that answer your question. Go to the next guy. Yeah. Oh, this one's interesting. This is the one I pulled the Joe Dispenza, the James Van Prague book over. Aaron Miss, my cousin Joe took off for Texas about 30 years ago. He left after he stole money from my grandparents. My mom and I think he's passed, but nobody knows. She wanted me to ask the garden, and that's my misspelling, not hers. That's the last one I was putting in when I was saying, "Oh no, they're coming into the show." So what I'm going to use is I am going to ask the garden about Joe in general, but then I'm going to pull a card from Von Progs because if he's dead, we'll get a response from that deck. That's the one that's the people who've uh, crossed the bridge, crossed the veil. They're not here with us. They're in the ground, whatever you call it. But we're going to see what is the deal about that. Oh, yeah, I think he's dead. I mean, he's not like 3 stones in the earth. That's kind of mean, but we're going to see. And let's see. I have a feeling the garden's telling me this is a description of who he was. He was always on multiple paths. He never picked a direction. His body in earth says physical changes are coming. I think that means that I think he's had a strong physical change. Then we get I don't think I've ever had 3 stones in air before. Okay, we've got our grounding or pyrite is in air. Mental he was always using his head. He was never going to work hard. He always thought he could make it without working hard for people. His thoughts are all important, and his spirit transformed thinking. I think he's on the other side. I think he's already looked back. I think he's already had his review from what those tell me. But we're going to pull a Von Prague card and see what it says, because that will. I'm not real good with stuff on the other side, guys. I have enough trouble with things on the earth. And what are we going to see? Pull. Tell me what Joe's message would be to her and her mother. Yeah, he's gone. My mind is free. And we saw that he was his own worst enemy, and he carried, I know when he took off and hurt everybody and just disappeared, it's like other relatives that just disappear. That was the chance. That was the time he needed to be with you in this life. And this is his statement. This is what, according to Von Prague, if he could speak to you. You know how much I worried when I was in my physical existence. It seems like I spent all my days and nights feeling anxious about the family, future, money, the earth. I now realized most of what I worried about was never a reality, and that those things didn't materialize. And I brought all the mishaps upon myself by attracting negativity. If I could only go back into my body for 5 minutes, I'd apply this new knowledge to show you how to be worry free and how worry free minds create and attract worry free lives. This knowledge has completely released me from the bondage of those earthly concerns. This is my greatest lesson, and the one I hope I can impart to you today. Give up all your worries to heaven and never hang on to them. Be free of worries, and you will find the greatest riches within them. And I think that's why he stole from your grandparents, because he needed something and he'd never learned in this life how to work it otherwise. I think it's a beautiful message. I think you and your mom, I don't know if he had a social security number or anything. I have no idea how old he was. There are ways to find out if people are really dead. But if it's not a real question to accept, is he going to show up and bother us again? Let me go see what we got in comments, if we got anybody who wants a question. If not, y'all are giving me a vacation today. Okay. Did somebody leak Pence's documents? Woo! I'm reading this blind, kids, because I have no idea. I'm not putting it in the garden because it doesn't like politics, but I will read the cards. I'm going to play like I'm on Sunday with Scott. What about the Pence documents? I'm going to do a Celtic cross. I will lay the cards in the garden, but it has nothing to do with you, dear sweet little garden, because you don't do politics. Ooh. Get my little fleur out of there. Okay. These two cards in the center are what's going on around him right now. They were leaked by a woman to get them out. They did it to push Pence away, because a lot of people are beginning to understand there may be voters who like DeSantis because they've heard the name, but when they really get a close look at him, that's not going to be the truth. So there may be one of his, this is fight, big bag of rats. So they're trying to set it up so he feels marginalized. This would be in a traditional tarot deck. That's the 5 of coins, where the people are walking outside the church. My deck is not as harsh, but she can't see what could be comforting to her. And it's always doing things that are going to bring around change. He kind of saw himself as the ho, I'm the arbiter. I'm the person that's calm. And I don't think the Queen of Cups is too far from him either. But that's been in his past. And whoever did this really did it because it's their choice to make. And the lovers in the original tarot deck were called choice. And they became the lovers when they kind of got scrubbed around in the Victorian era, and then when Rider Waite came out with theirs. But if you go to the old Italian decks, it's choice, and it's making a choice of which way you want to think and who you want to unify with. So I read this like someone made this choice because they don't want him in charge, because they know what a twisted little critter he is, and it might get some of the people away from where they want them, away from where they want them to be led as far as politically things go. He trusted this person, and this is hopes and fears. He trusted this person and surrendered his power to them in a way. He's now starting to feel really unburdened, because he ought to be. People are going to see how duplicitous he is and how he doesn't speak the truth. That's going to be the outcome of this. And there's no bringing it back. There's no, it's out there. There's no other way to look at it, no other perspective. And I think it's, whether he sees it or not, the universe is giving him a way out to go on to a more peaceful life. And for the person who leaked it, it accomplished exactly what they wanted. It put whatever they wanted to be in the limelight, into the limelight, and to be seen more clearly. So what do I think about the Pence documents? Fight, 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 big bag of rats. They're all turning on each other. They're all using whatever they've had. They're incredibly duplicitous. You saw how fast the party turned on and would have killed him on the 6th. I don't even understand why the man wants to run for office, to tell you the truth, but I don't have that kind of ego. So trust me, I would never run for office. The day of the election, they'd have to come dig me out of the back of my closet, where I'd be curled up in the fetal position. Okay, Elise, did you post something? Oh, you were talking about past life stuff. Yeah. Well, we're doing it Thursday. And depending how it goes, Miriam Bratton has put for Candy, sometimes saying this prayer works. Dear St. Anthony, come around. Something's missing, must be found. She said it works for her. So see if that can work for you. When I was a little kid, I could find things. That's how my parents knew I was psychic. But that has just, it's so clouded now. Oh, Lauren, I will let Margaret know. I know, I looked it up this morning on Google. There is a extension. There's several of them in Harris County, and they really are helpful. And in other states that don't have Texas A&M, because you're not Texas, there's some kind of agricultural discussion extension or home gardener things, and they're growing all the time because they really want more people question it. And it's something that people that get into it, they realize my tax dollar paid for something. Oh no, marigolds work in Texas too. They're wonderful. They kill all the bad mosquitoes and things. That's true. There are cats on my shirt. There are also cats in my house. I only had 2 cat fights this morning. That was lovely. The other 2 cats, we had 3 cats, and then my son moved a partner in, and they had 2 cats. So now I have 5 cats. And my bedroom is where everybody comes in the morning, because the other 3 were all sort of used to that. And matter of fact, last night I took pity on the cat who'd been here before, who was having to share space with the other 2. He hid under my rocking chair, which is covered, until Susan, his owner, went to bed, and then came out, got in my lap, and said, "Can I stay with you, Grandma?" I said, "Sure." What's the difference between a garden tarot reading and a 3-month reading? 3-month reading, I do what's going on around you for the next 3 months with cards, and we move on from there, and we take cards out of that. Garden reading is, and when I do a 3-month reading, you can ask a lot of questions. Garden reading, you can also ask a lot of questions, but they're going to be different, and they're not going to be yes, no-y. And I have an option if you go to my pricing page about 3-month and a garden reading. And then we just kind of pick between the two, just like I just did now, which one works best. I'm glad you like Apatite. It's a beautiful stone. Oh, I thought, okay, when I first read this, I thought, what's good for a horse blessing? And I'm going, I don't know, call Ann Perry. She's had horses. For house blessing, I always get someone like a tourmaline or uh, obsidian. And you can get any color of obsidian. There's several different colors. They're all great grounding stones. The difference in the different obsidians is if it's blue, it's communication. If it's green, it's your heart. And if it's pink, I was just looking at a piece of tourmaline, also has different colors. One of my favorite necklaces has a rough piece of pink tourmaline on it. They're very protective. And what I would be looking for is a stone that they could put near their front door and set it up as a guardian stone for their house. And I have a chunk of tourmaline that's about that big around and about that long. And I found a key rack that had a shelf on the top, and that's where it sits. So I hope that helps. Look for good grounding stones. Also, any stone you feel comfortable with. Geodes are great to give as house gifts. This is a huge geode. Oh, this thing is heavy. That's a beautiful geode. You can get little ones, and they're all wonderful because this is an energy vortex in the center. And so you can feel how warm it feels inside that stone as opposed to the air on the outside. And today it is cool in my house. So, yeah, you're pretty. This is smoky quartz geode. You can look them up. This was a gift from someone I built a grid for. So don't ask me how much it cost. It cost me building her grid. You can also get, this is not terribly expensive, but it's awful pretty. That's amethyst. And that's a chunk of a big amethyst geode. Those make nice house gifts because they're pretty and they're kind of almost sculptural. So it depends on what you're connected, that would be a good stone for house blessings. Okay. And will your business grow next year? Hi, Danny. I guess you're not on your roof today. And you saw, Danny, what I have on my garden. That's a gift. Danny's wife paints stones, and that's a stone she gave me when I first designed the gardens. And it's my flower that's on a stone in my garden. Okay. Jolyn, let's see about your business in the next year. Ooh. I think this winter is going to be a little bit stagnant. I don't know about the spring. Some new ideas are coming in, but definitely by summer and fall, everything's going to be falling in line with where you want it. That's just looking at the stones where they are right now. I think, I think from the stone that caught my eye is Clarity and Restate. And you don't have an idea about what you kind of really need to fix in your business. You just have some little dilemma that's in the back of your mind that you can't quite let go of. But your path forward, we're going to start there. And your path forward is much more abundance is about to be created. What have you pulled in from your past to have that happen? I think there's a product line or some way you approached your business before and you changed away from it, and it was much more, the old way was much more successful. At least if the old way wasn't much more successful, figure out a way you can bring some of that element back in because it's really helping you. But you've got your mind is between fire and water, and don't be tied to false energies of the past. And this says to let go of limitations. So I'm going to see where your spirit is. This would tell me that some of it is your own hesitancy about making moves. I think if you think things through and you analyze them, you can make some of the jumps you've been thinking about making. And that's why winter and spring may be so slow. But I think by summer, you're going to be ready to go for this. And your spirit's transforming right now. This being here, it says your spirit's transforming right now, but it's not quite finished for you yet. And you need to sit down and go through your own thought process on how you're running your business, because that's what everybody that's where you're going to get your best ideas. And it's not going to be go back to an old form and don't, and that's it. What it's saying is think things through and see where you made changes before and how did you come to those decisions. Something will present itself that'll be the same way. And I wish I did, sweetie. I don't. Help you stop migraines. Probably the best thing I know is if you can get rid of some of the tension, and that would be a lovely piece of Amazonite and also turquoise. They absorb pain. And if you can get a pretty piece of light amethyst, not as dark as this, but a piece of light amethyst that can let some of the energy go from your crown chakra, that would be kind of the only things I could suggest. But migraines come from two ways: too much energy running out of your head universally, or you're not grounded enough and your body's literally having to squeeze to hold your energy into the earth. So any grounding stone, that's any very dark stone or very red stone, root chakra stones. And also look at some root chakra exercises, because there's some little kind of mini meditations you can do throughout the day to remind yourself to get grounded again. That was a big problem I had for a lot of my life. I lived in another universe, and it makes it very weird when you come back to the earth and go, oh, I did that. Okay. And just trying to read them slowly enough so I don't. Yeah, give me thumbs up, guys. I need thumbs up. That you'd be amazed when people put thumbs up how much nicer YouTube is to you. Okay, we're gonna show this one. I'm gonna see. We'll try to look at your overall health. I'm not had too many questions like that in the garden, so we're gonna try this one together, Lise. And Lise is a garden owner. You could throw in a different stone every day and see what kind of answers they give you and build up a pattern of stones. Okay. This is an interesting layout. I'm going to ditch your question because I know what it is, so we can see what the stones are. Okay. We're going to start with your root chakra problem. And your root chakra answer is out here. And it's saying tying cosmic wisdom to what you need is the base for your answer. And you have your spirit in air. And that means it's transforming. Spirit transforms your thinking. So I think there's, well, I don't know about osteoporosis because I've never had it, but a lot of it is you're pulling in energy that's actually physically weakening your body. So if you could pull in higher thoughts all day, that would be helpful. That would be helpful to all of us. It's not just you. You've got your body Yeah, your body's between earth and false. Boy, is that the truth. Listen to your body's signals to have help with this. But physical changes are actually coming for you, and some good ones, if you can do these two things: get your spirit and your clarity together. Now, your mind is in here, and your mind's also playing games. Um, your mind misleads you sometimes about how to think about things, but the path forward is also in your mind. It says you should be open to watching for new signs and be ooching away from false, moving away from that kind of mental endeavor. And that will help you a lot. And then your values are in your throat chakra, which is really good because that's the truth. And it says the more you express, okay, let's see, the more you express yourself, the better you will feel, the better you will get because it boosts your self esteem. And I don't mean just sit there talking to ears that don't listen. Find ears that listen because the more you can tie to them, the more you can raise your spirit and the more you can clarify yourself down to your very root center. And then this will ooch this way and then this will become here and physical changes will be coming. And I think overall this is not saying your health is going to get worse. It says it's in your control. I'd almost wish it would say some lightning bolt's going to come down and make me better, but trust me, I'm going through it with my knees. Um, with all the weather changes this winter, I had them done 10 years ago, and they're acting up now. Okay, we're going to look at Sherry. You didn't put it in capitals, but I'll answer it anyway. We got time. Daughter going to art fellowship. Will it be safe for her? Well, we're going to put this in the cards because I get more of a nuance since I don't know her. Don't keep moving, garden. Yeah. Bad shuffle, so we're not going to read that one. Okay, cards. Unstick. Get open. Oh, that was a good shuffle. Sherry's daughter. Yeah, Mom, let her go. You're making her anxious. She's gonna have. Oh, you can't see the cards. That would be helpful. Um, she's gonna have some problems in her transportation there, and it's not gonna build the foundation she thinks it's gonna build. But it's really good for her, and it's coming from a part of her soul that needs to go there and be there and see it there. So, I think she's gonna be safe. I think she's not going to get all the boost she thinks she's going to get out of it, but that's okay. And just make sure she checks, rechecks, and double checks her travel plans because that's the only thing I see on there that's negative. But she's going to learn a lot. She's going to grow up a lot. You're going to send off the Page of Pentacles and have maybe a knight or even a queen come back. Sharon put up, I guess someone must have asked about, I found this program that can identify rocks and you can get it on your phone. And so if you're going to go to a store and look at a lot of different stones and which one should I get, you can put the rock identifier on it. I pulled out a whole bunch of stones. I knew what they were, and then ones I didn't know what they were, and used it. And I think it was 100% accurate. Thank you, Sharon. Okay, where are we going here? There are all kinds of places you can go online and find this chakra goes with this rock and stuff. Sometimes it's your own intuition, but there is I've taken whole courses on how to connect chakras and rocks. And Sharon sending loves and big hugs to everyone. And everybody's saying hi to everybody. That's good. Hi, Gigi. Um, okay. 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 Wow. I remember the question I had last Saturday. He will still be able to she's going on a cross country trip and to do I don't know what the DP. I forgot, Vicky. If you can clarify at the end, I'll clean it up, but I don't remember. Okay. We're going to look at your back issue. And I presume it's not of magazines. I'm just presuming you have a spinal problem. Yeah, it's very base and core to you. It's also because you've been through it for so long, it keeps coming back in your mind. And you need to get some real clarity about what you actually need. There's 2 or 3 different directions you could head in, and some of them might even be sort of counterintuitive. Your spirit's still transforming on this whole issue, and it's not really ready to let it go. Thoughts? Do you grow up in a family that had a lot of backaches around them? Now that could be because you genetically inherited them from each other, but it could be that just I get a sense that just hearing that over and over again, it gave you pain in the back. But let's see what's coming. Things are changing for you because you got Earth. More is being brought forward. You didn't have a complete diagnosis with yet, but what intrigues me is your mind being between fire and water, because when the mind shows up in water, that means you're going to be letting go of some limitations. And the fact it's in fire, it's that, yeah, I think some of it, I think there may be something that's happened in your back, Barbara, but it's not as bad as you think it is. And I think if you work your mind through it, you're going to realize you're holding on to somebody else's energy. Do you know anything about cutting energetic cords? Because I have a good thing for you to think about doing. Get calm in a chair. I don't care if you're Christian or not. Archangel Michael goes around for everybody. It's easier for me because I'm Christian. If it's not easy for you, but just think of asking the universe if you don't want to do Saint Michael. But one of the reasons I like this prayer is because it reminds me of a fluorite crystal when they're in their natural forms, and they're the octahedron. They have the 8 sides. What you do is you ask Archangel Michael in, and I'd ask Archangel Ariel, to come in too, because Ariel can help you move to the new space and get rid of energy from the old space. And you ask Archangel Michael to take his sword and cut all low and discordant cords from your body, from your energy. And you ask him to swing above and below, to the left, to the right, to the front and the back, and ask that all false energies to be released from you. And the interesting thing about that statement is there's in almost every faith and shamanism and stuff, there's that kind of a statement is made in there. And and I knew about this for years. When I was working psychic fairs, they used to tell me about it all the time. And I'm like, lovely. And I wasn't into the angels thing, as I used to call it, the angels thing. And so one day, I was sitting in my easy chair in the high rise where I was living at the time. And I said, okay, I'm going to try it and see what happens. And so I called him in, up, down, left, right, front, back. And when it was finished, first of all, I felt energy kind of swooshing around me, but I actually felt the cord. There was one big cord that was being cut, and my body went wonk, like that's gone now. We're not weighed by that. Um, so if you want your body and your life to be your own, I would ask them to come in and, with regards to your back, help you figure out which cords are there, and not even figure them out. Just cut the suckers and see what happens. You'll be amazed how fast you'll hear from the people that were attached to that cord. Once you do that, that gives you a chance to say goodbye. Oh, okay. Yeah, Vicky. Okay. Vicky and her husband have a chance to do a long RV trip, but now his car broke down and it may be the transmission. When we were talking Saturday, we were thinking it might be easier things. I don't know. Maybe the universe is telling you not now. This isn't the time to take that trip. Who knows? I know. I'm supposed to know, right? I'm a psychic. I don't. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Duvernay, does she have a big change coming? Okay, let's see the pattern around Verney's life for the next little bit. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to get rid of your questions so that we can see the board, because I want them to see this one. That's the pyrite. That's your values. And that's fallen between. More abundance is about to be created. And how you would deal with it. If you got more abundance right now, how would you deal with it? That's the crux of the problem. If all of a sudden there was this huge change in financial position, what would you do with it? Because your spirit's saying that it's your spirit's transforming right now and it's not yet finished because it's continuing to hang on to old situations and it's not aligned with letting you have. I mean, right now, you and your spirit need to have a talk. Your spirit's like, oh, that can't happen to me. You have all the no, 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 no's. And yet something's heading towards you. You can feel it. And I feel your mind is in the future and the present, and that's great. And when your mind's in the future, think of what you're doing right now. Think of the situation, the future tense, and you are seeing signs in your soul and your body, whether you're cognitively seeing them, is seeing signs that this is about to happen. And your body's going to flow through air, which is great. You need to ground your thoughts and get centered and have your spirit go into the earth so it can finish transmuting, because your clarity's out here in the water. Water's what's always washing away. So I think to some degree, right now your life experiences are clearing out things the way you used to see them. And the more you can get them to be somewhere else on the board, then everything else can shift forward. And you're right. You're sensing your intuition's right, but you have to let it in for it to work, Verney. I hope that helps you. Okay. Candy Mullen says St. Anthony's a dud right now for her. I didn't. Well, we're talking about lost items. What I don't do. Let's see. I'm trying to get to the. There's an old myth in ancient Rome. They used to drink wine from amethyst cups, and they used to wear a lot of amethyst jewelry because they thought it stopped them from getting drunk. I think all that probably happened was there were a lot of drunken Romans with a lot of amethyst around them. But as far as um, alcohol is it's a heart chakra um, problem that has to do with building a fort around your heart so it can't get hurt again, or it doesn't have to be put at risk again. So I would do heart meditations and any stones malachite's a great stone when you're working with your heart. All green stones are, emeralds are, but I'm not going to tell you to run out and buy an emerald. And also pink stones, because I think the perfect stone for the heart there's a tourmaline that has pink. It's called watermelon tourmaline, and it's got green and pink together. And I think that's a perfect stone for balancing. But first, you got to recognize that where the addiction is coming from, and it's coming from your heart. I don't go to any show. I go to Denver to visit a friend, and I go visit rock shops there when they're very empty. And okay, question about. Well, apparently the stone was working. I have a question. I was clearing my chakras, and the stone on my third eye got really hot. Well, I would say it was clearing something out. It was pulling something out or pulling something in, as long as it didn't burn your skin. And okay, we're almost done, kids. Okay. I don't know. An ailment on my upper leg, upper foot, scaly skin, itchy, ancestral or galactic past life. Well, my garden doesn't read the galactics, but I'll swing a pendulum for you, and then I'm going to go down quickly. I've got one more after that. And then I have to stop, guys, because I'm really getting tired. Is the ailment on Paulina skin ancestral? No. Oh, I didn't have it very close for you to see, but I'll show you what it did. It went no, because I'm going to do a follow. It went a really slight no. No, it's not from that. Okay. Is this signify a present corporal disease? Okay. It's a corporal disease that your body pulls in. Okay, let's see. Is there medicine to heal her skin? Yeah, you need to go to someone who does earthbound medicine, and they'll help you. Okay. And this one's going to be the last one, guys. I'm sorry for anybody's beyond this. I'll write them down and I'll throw them in the next show or so. Can you see when my mom will need to come and live with me? Will it be this year? I'm just going to look and see if it's going to be this year, Francesca, because that's what I think is going to be the easiest to do with what I have out. Okay. It's a yes and a no. I think you're going to start making the real moves by the end of the year. Let's see. Will Francesca's mother be living with her in 2024? Yes, I think you're going to make the decision some way about half through this year, and then there's going to be a transition time, and it'll take a little while to get all of the pieces worked out. but the swings were really true to what they seem they're going to feel. So that works. Let's see. Okay. And then after that, everybody's pretty much, and I really can't go on. All the rest of them are going to take while Mia Plus and Tammy, I'll write your questions down, and I have a question book and I keep them for my next show. So you'll be at the top of the show, just so you know. And I hope, because I'm getting a lot of other things. And thank you to everyone who showed up. And Dr. Gail, I will. Oh, thank you, Vernie, very much. She gave me a super sticker. That's like I want to get to the bottom because those show up at the end of the day. Thank you very much for your super sticker. I'll write down the questions I didn't get to that are in caps. I'll keep them in my question book. They probably won't be first up on my show on Thursday because that's going to be really about kind of all the ways I knew of divining past lives. And so if you're interested in learning how to do that, this is going to be kind of a tutorial on how to do it. And just, it's the mechanics. Whether you can pick it up and work with it is your own thing. Anyway, I agree with Barbara. Peace, love, and light to all. I hope you have a warmer, cozier day than I think I'm going to be having, but we're going to try. And remember, next Thursday, 1 o'clock, I'll send out the thing early. It's going to be Dr. Gail and Kelly, and we're going to be doing a past life for Kelly, which is very brave of her to do a past life live for people to see. Take care, and I'll see you next Thursday. Goodbye.